Cabinet takes important decision, approves 18,200 crore rupee production-linked incentive scheme to boost indigenous battery storage production. The step is expected to attract direct investment of around 45,000 crore rupees in battery storage manufacturing projects. Panel of experts recommends Bharat Biotech's Covaxin for Phase 2 and Phase 3 trials on children and adolescents between the ages of 2 and 18 years. Many experts predict that the third wave of COVID will also infect children and teenagers when it arrives. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan holds a high-level meeting with health ministers from 8 states and union territories. They discuss COVID management and vaccination delivery. He says that the states should not have unrealistic expectations about vaccinations and they should make plans based on ground realities. The vaccination drive picks up further pace. More than 17 crore 52 lakh doses have been administered so far. Over 24 lakh 46,000 doses were given on Tuesday. Nearly 30 lakh people between the ages of 18 and 44 have received their first dose of vaccine. The Railways, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force continue to make efforts to make oxygen available all across the country. 100 oxygen express trains complete their journeys. They've delivered 6,260 metric tons of oxygen. IAF continues to transport oxygen containers from overseas. Indian naval ships also bring oxygen from Kuwait. The country remembers caregivers and nurses for their immense contribution to healthcare. On International Nurses Day today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses gratitude to nursing staff fighting at the forefront in this battle against COVID. He says their sense of duty, compassion and commitment towards a healthy India is exemplary. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declares a state of emergency in the Israeli city of Lod, following clashes across the city amid escalating tensions between Israel and Palestine. Namaskar and welcome to the news. My name is Mark Lynn. Let's begin with our top story. Well, the Cabinet has approved the production-linked incentive scheme for advanced chemistry cell ACC battery storage with an outlay of 18,100 crore rupees. It will help in the production of 50 gigawatt per hour of ACC. ACCs are new generation of advanced storage technologies. They can store electric energy either as electrochemical or chemical energy and convert it back to electrical energy as and when required. The Union Minister Prakash Javadekar briefed the media on the scheme on Wednesday.
PLI for advanced chemistry cell battery storage will be of 18,100 crores. It will help production of 50 gigawatts of battery storage, and we expect 45,000 crore rupees of investment, foreign as well as within the country.
Prakash Javadekar also informed that ACC battery storage manufacturers would be selected through a transparent competitive bidding process. He said that the scheme would invite domestic and foreign investment and would greatly support the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative of the government.
2,000 rupees per kilowatt hour इस रेट से ये इंसेंटिव मिलेगा. ये बिडिंग भी होगा इसके लिए, और जो अच्छा सेल करेंगे, जो अच्छा एफिशिएंसी बढ़ाएंगे और जो लोकलाइजेशन ज़्यादा करेंगे उसको ये ज़्यादा फायदा होगा. ये इसलिए मैंने कहा कि ये मेक इन इंडिया का भी आविष्कार है और ये आत्मनिर्भर भारत का भी दृश्य है, परिदृश्य, और इसमें देशी विदेशी निवेश सबका स्वागत है.
The Union Minister further said that ACC program will be a key contributing factor to reducing India's greenhouse gas emissions. which will be in line with India's commitment to combating climate change.
This is a win-win formula for climate change, for green growth, for Indian philosophy of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, where investment, trade, industry are all welcome because it will improve the whole industry sector. It will bring in foreign and national investment. At the same time, it will promote good work and industries and will create more job opportunities.
Bharat Biotech's COVID-19 vaccine Covaxin has been recommended by the expert panel for phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials on children from 2 to 18 years of age. So this trial will take place in 525 subjects at various sites, including AIIMS Delhi, AIIMS Patna and Meditrina Institute of Medical Sciences, Nagpur. The Subject Expert Committee on COVID-19 of the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization on Tuesday deliberated upon Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech's application seeking permission to conduct phase 2 and 3 clinical trials to evaluate the safety, reactogenicity and immunogenicity of Covaxin jabs in children aged 2 to 18 years. Earlier, the proposal was deliberated in SEC meeting dated February 24, and the firm was asked to submit a revised clinical trial protocol. Covaxin, indigenously developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research, is being used in adults in India's ongoing COVID-19 vaccination drive. The Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, held a meeting via video conference with the health ministers of Uttarakhand, Haryana, Punjab, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha and Jammu and Kashmir, also Telangana, and they reviewed the progress of COVID-19 vaccination drive and the steps to accelerate the drive. So the minister gave details about the assistance provided by the central government to the states, and he urged the states to utilize every provided material completely.
422.79 लाख N95 मास्क, 176.91 लाख PPE किट्स, 43,979 वेंटिलेटर्स और पिछले समय में 38 लाख से ज्यादा रेमडेसिविर इंजेक्शंस ये भारत सरकार के माध्यम से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को उपलब्ध कराए गए हैं और ये लगातार हम लोग कराते रहेंगे। आपकी हर तकलीफ और हर जरूरत को पूरा करने के लिए हम आपके साथ हैं। निवेदन केवल इतना है कि जो भी चीज उपलब्ध कराई जा रही है उनका भरपूर इस्तेमाल करिए।
And speaking on the vaccination, Dr. Harshvardhan said that over 17 crore doses of COVID vaccine were administered till Wednesday morning, and he added that in the last 24 hours, in fact, over 24 lakh doses were administered.
आज तक देश में 17,52,35,991 डोजेज आज सुबह तक देशवासियों को दी जा चुकी थी और पिछले 24 घंटे में भी 24,46,674 लोगों को ये डोजेज दी गई। हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स की जो प्रक्रिया 16 जनवरी को प्रारंभ हुई थी, उस कैटेगरी में अब तक 95,82,449 हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स को फर्स्ट डोज और 65,39,376 लोगों को सेकंड डोज।
The health minister also highlighted that the number of people recovering from COVID-19 was increasing, and it was important to maintain this trend.
पिछले 24 घंटे में देश में लगभग 3,48,421 कोविड के केसेस रिपोर्ट हुए हैं, लेकिन इसी के साथ साथ हम सबके लिए ये भी संतोष की बात है कि 3,55,338 केसेस जो कि होने वाले केसेस से संख्या ज्यादा है, इतने रिकवर होकर सकुशल घर भी लौटे हैं। इस पेस को बराबर हमें मेंटेन करना है ताकि धीरे धीरे हमारे जो एक्टिव केसेस की संख्या वो हर रोज पिछले दिन से कम होती जाए।
The World Health Organization has not associated the term Indian variant with the B1.617 variant of the coronavirus in its 32-page document. As noted in a release issued by the Health Ministry today, the word Indian has not been used by the WHO report on the matter. The Health Ministry has added that some reports have covered the news of classifying B1.617 as a variant of global concern and termed the B1.617 variant of the coronavirus as the Indian variant. Now, these media reports are without any basis and unfounded. India's largest vaccination drive gains momentum. The country has administered over 12 crore 52 lakh vaccination doses so far. Cumulatively, 17 crore 52 lakh 35,991 vaccinations have been administered so far. 13 crore 66 lakh 19,734 beneficiaries were vaccinated for the first dose so far, and 3 crore 86 lakh 16,257 beneficiaries received the second dose of the vaccine. More than 24 lakh 46,000 beneficiaries were vaccinated on Tuesday. Of these, 10 lakh 92,452 were given the first dose and 13 lakh 54,222 were given the second dose in a single day. The vaccination exercise is a tool to protect the most vulnerable population groups in the country from COVID-19 continues to be regularly reviewed and monitored at the highest level. In Assam, the new SOPs have been released for Corona curfew. The curfew will be in place from 2 p.m. in urban and semi-urban areas. Curfew timings across Assam have been extended. These SOPs will remain in force for 15 days starting from Thursday 5 a.m. as will be in urban as well as semi-urban areas of Assam. All government and private offices would remain closed for the next 15 days. All religious places will remain closed for the next 15 days. All marketplaces will close their shutters by 1 p.m. All weekly markets will also remain closed for the next 15 days. Stern action would be initiated against violators. A maximum of 10 people have been allowed for weddings. Assam DGP said that anyone found organizing functions during this period would be charged with attempt to murder case. And buses have been allowed to operate with only 30% passengers. Pillion riding has been banned according to the new SOPs. However, women and children pillion riders have been allowed.
बहुत सारे केसेस अर्बन और पेरी अर्बन एरियाज से निकल कर आ रहे हैं, अर्बन एरिया और उसके आसपास के जो इलाके हैं वहाँ से। तो इसलिए ये सारे रेस्ट्रिक्शन जो किए गए हैं कि सारे म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन, म्यूनिसिपल बोर्ड और रेवेन्यू टाउन, ये जो अर्बन कॉन्ग्लोमरेशंस हैं, उनके पेरिफेरी से 5 किलोमीटर की एरिया के भीतर ये सारे रेस्ट्रिक्शंस प्रयोज्य होंगे। सवेरे 5 बजे से 1 बजे तक ऑफिस खुलेंगे और 1 बजे से 2 बजे तक लोग वापस घर को आ सकते हैं, और 2 बजे से लेकर के सवेरे के 5 बजे तक कर्फ्यू, जो कि पहले नाइट कर्फ्यू था 6 बजे से, वो अब 2 बजे से 5 बजे तक अर्बन और सब अर्बन एरियाज में रहेगा।
Telangana, joining the list of growing states, has enforced a 10-day lockdown from 10 a.m. this morning amid a surge in coronavirus cases. The relaxation period for all activities is only between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. The decision taken at a cabinet meeting held on Tuesday to contain the COVID spread. Telangana registered 4,826 positive cases and 32 deaths on Monday. and it has crossed the 5 lakh COVID-19 infections mark. Apart from Andhra, where there is a partial curfew, all other southern states would be in lockdown. There is lockdown in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka till May 24. Kerala too, the shutdown period is still May the 16th. Most states have taken to lockdown as a measure to stem the spread of infections. And amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the journey of the Indian Railways continues to provide tremendous relief to patients by delivery of liquid medical oxygen to various states. The Indian Railways runs the 100th Oxygen Express train, delivering 6,260 metric tons of oxygen. As part of the ongoing drive, the 100th Oxygen Express today reached Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. Another Oxygen Express reached Delhi from Hapa, Gujarat, with medical oxygen for COVID-19 patients. An Oxygen Express from Durgapur carrying medical oxygen for COVID-19 patients arrived in Delhi. A train carrying liquid oxygen also reached the national capital from Tata Nagar. Oxygen Express carrying liquid oxygen also reached Kanpur from Durgapur to provide oxygen to COVID-19 patients. Another Oxygen Express reached Faridabad from Anugal, and another Oxygen Express from Anugal reached Hyderabad to provide uninterrupted supply of oxygen for COVID-19 patients in Telangana. Oxygen Express carrying tankers filled with liquid oxygen reached Nagpur in Maharashtra as well. Well, in the spirit of goodwill, the global community has been helping India through the international donations as well as aid of COVID-19 medical relief, supplies, equipment since the 27th of April 2021 to support India and allow India to address the challenges of COVID management. In fact, the swift clearing and appointing of and apportioning of the global aid by the government of India has strengthen the tertiary medical care across the states and union territories for COVID management. 9,284 oxygen concentrators, 7,033 oxygen cylinders, 19 oxygen generation plants, 5,933 ventilators or BiPAPs as well, and 3.44 lakh remdesivir vials. They were delivered or dispatched to increase the capacity of states and union territories. The Union Health Ministry has set up a dedicated cell which has been set up for the regular comprehensive monitoring and coordination of the entire process of effective immediate allocation and streamlining of delivery to states and union territories. The PM CARES Fund has approved procurement of 1.5 lakh units of SpO2 based oxygen supply system developed by DRDO. The fund has accorded sanction of procurement of 1,50,000 units of OxyCare system. It's developed by DRDO at a cost of 322.5 crore rupees. OxyCare is an SpO2 based oxygen supply system which regulates the oxygen being administered to patients based on their sensed SpO2 levels. So under the sanction, 100,000 or 1 lakh manual and 50,000 automatic OxyCare systems along with non-rebreather masks as well as other things are being procured. The OxyCare system delivers supplemental oxygen based on SpO2 levels and prevents the person from sinking into a state of hypoxia. So the system was developed by the Defence Bioengineering and Electromedical Laboratory, Bengaluru, which is a part of DRDO, and this is for soldiers posted at extreme high altitude areas. So the two variants of the system have been configured. The basic version consists of a 10-liter oxygen cylinder, a pressure regulator cum flow controller and humidifier, and a nasal cannula. And the second configuration is an oxygen cylinder equipped with electronic controls which automatically regulate the flow of oxygen. The SpO2-based oxygen supply system optimizes the consumption of oxygen based on SpO2 readings of the patient and effectively increases the endurance of the portable oxygen cylinder. So these OxyCare systems can be used at home, in home quarantine centers as well, and COVID care centers and hospitals too. So the DRDO has transferred the technology to multiple industries in India which will be producing the OxyCare systems. Our next story, the Chief of Army Staff, General Naravane, is on a 2-day visit to White Night Corps in Jammu and the forward areas including Akhnur, Rajouri and Nowshera. He is accompanied by Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi, the Northern Army Commander, and he was briefed regarding the prevailing security situation, operational preparedness, COVID-19 management and the assistance provided to veterans and people of the region in the fight against the pandemic. General Naravane interacted with troops deployed in the forward areas and appreciated the sustained efforts of all ranks and the White Night Corps towards maintaining the sanctity of the line of control, as well as wholeheartedly assisting the civil administration, veterans and civil population, especially in border areas, to combat the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. He visited the military hospital at Jammu, reviewed the medical preparedness of COVID-19. General Naravane, he also appreciated the vital critical care that's being provided by the doctors and healthcare workers and awarded them appropriately. International Nurses Day is being celebrated this year on the 12th of May. In fact, it's celebrated every year on the 12th of May, which marks the anniversary of Florence Nightingale's. So it's widely regarded, of course, as because Florence Nightingale is considered the founder of modern nursing. So the day holds much significance this year as well in the fight against coronavirus, which has infected more than 16 crore people across the globe. And the Prime Minister has expressed gratitude to the hardworking nursing staff. On Twitter, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "International Nurses Day is a day to express gratitude to the hardworking nursing staff who are at the forefront of fighting COVID-19. Their sense of duty, compassion and commitment towards a healthy India is exemplary."
Every year, 12th of May is observed as International Nurses Day to honor nurses. The International Council of Nurses celebrated the day for the first time in 1965 and was chosen to celebrate the day as it is the birth anniversary of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, in the year 1974. On the occasion of International Nurses Day, Major General Soral Ghoshal, Additional DG Military Nursing Service, took this opportunity to compliment each and every nurse contributing towards healthcare globally.
During vulnerable moments like this, it is nursing officers who are holding the responsibility, accountability for providing reassurance to the patients and networking between the patient's needs and all other departments in the hospital.
This year, the theme for the International Nurses Day is Nurses, a Voice to Lead, a vision for future healthcare that emphasizes on the need for nursing innovation and empowering nursing workforce for tackling such global health crises in future in this context. As the entire world is grappling with the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, nurses play a pivotal role in achieving their healthcare goals by being the most important link in the process of healthcare delivery. Throughout history, the military nursing service has played an indefatigable role in stepping into times of crisis. They are deployed in various armed forces establishments to care for the COVID-19 patients, apart from the peace and war establishments which deliver routine medical care.
They are serving in advanced echelons such as Leh, Rajouri, Dora, Kargil and many other far-flung areas for the care of the troops in India. The work put in by the nurse in COVID-19 crisis is a powerful and practical demonstration of the potential that nurses possess to address big healthcare challenges.
The military nursing service is an integral part of armed forces medical services. Apart from providing nursing care to one of the largest armies of the world, officers of military nursing service in India have proved to be the frontline warriors in today's scenario who have taken on the responsibility of combating this. pandemic willingly.
Working shoulder to shoulder with other professionals of Armed Forces Medical Service teams and are moved at very short notice. I wish that nursing as a profession grows exponentially and the nation acknowledges its contribution, thereby motivating many youngsters to take up this noble profession.
The pandemic has thrown unprecedented challenges for healthcare professionals and nurses in particular across the country, stretching the healthcare system to never-seen limits. As the battle becomes long-drawn, military nursing service officers continue to perform their duties tirelessly in this crisis situation. Bureau Report, DD India.
And retail inflation eased to a 3-month low of 4.29% in April this year from 5.52% in March, primarily due to a fall in food inflation. According to data released by the Statistics and Program Implementation Ministry, food inflation fell sharply to 2.02% in April from 4.87% in March. Israel carried out hundreds of airstrikes in Gaza on Wednesday, and Palestinian militants fired multiple rocket barrages at Tel Aviv and the southern city of Beersheba in the region's most intense hostilities in years. At least 43 people have been killed in Gaza since the violence escalated on Monday.
At least 43 people have died in some of the worst violence in years between Israel and Palestinians living in the enclave of Gaza. Palestinian militant group Hamas fired a barrage of 130 rockets at Israel's capital Tel Aviv on Tuesday. This allegedly in retaliation for an Israeli strike which destroyed a tar block in Gaza. However, the Israeli military said it targeted militants in Gaza in response to earlier rocket attacks. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh said Israel had quote-unquote ignited fire in Jerusalem and was responsible for the consequences. He said if Israel wants to escalate, the resistance is ready. If Israel wants to stop, the resistance is ready for that too. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said militants in the Gaza Strip will pay a heavy price for their belligerence.
We are at the height of a campaign. Since yesterday, the Israeli Defense Forces executed hundreds of attacks on Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza. We targeted commanders, we hit many of their quality targets. Hamas will be getting blows it didn't expect.
Netanyahu declared a state of emergency in the Israeli city of Lod after clashes broke out there. The international community has urged Israelis and Palestinians to end the escalation. A UN spokesperson said UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is saddened by the events and that the United Nations is working to de-escalate tensions.
He is deeply saddened to learn of the increasingly large numbers of casualties, including children, from Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and of Israeli fatalities from rockets launched from Gaza. The Secretary General's thoughts are with the families of the victims. Israeli security forces must exercise maximum restraint and calibrate their use of force. The indiscriminate launching of rockets and mortars towards Israeli population centers is unacceptable.
For its part, the United States called on all sides to exercise restraint. At his daily briefing, U.S. Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the U.S.'s message continues to be one of prioritizing de-escalation and urging calm and restraint on both sides.
We stand by Israel's right to defend itself. We also stand by the principle that Palestinians deserve the right to live in safety and security. I'm not here to adjudicate military operations, to say what is proportional precisely, what is not, but the United States certainly stands by the principle that civilians should not, that any loss of civilian life is deeply lamentable, whether that is a Palestinian life or an Israeli life.
The Arab League condemned the Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. It called on the international community to move urgently to stop Israel from escalating the situation. Meanwhile, dozens of people demonstrated outside the US Foreign Ministry building in Washington, D.C. in support of Palestinians. In London, a large group of pro-Palestinian demonstrators took to the streets waving Palestinian flags and chanting slogans, while a smaller group of pro-Israeli demonstrators was witnessed on the side of the road. Hundreds of demonstrators also gathered outside the Israeli consulate in Istanbul, Turkey on Tuesday for a third night in a row in protest against Israeli actions. Bureau Report, DD India.
And that's all we have in this news bulletin. Thanks very much for watching, but always remember to keep yourself covered, your face covered with a mask, and especially covering your nose. Even indoors, wear your masks, because that's one way of, in fact, the best way of preventing the spread of the coronavirus. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.